I think if I can do a 3-day or 4-day fast, which I've just done, and you can do the cold plunges, it's kind of makes me, well, especially in the cold plunge, because I go into it's kind of a death state. I like to think of it, where you go from feeling like, this is too much for me, to just complete calm. It's an amazing feeling when you get in it. I've got to the point now I have to tell myself to get out, because she's only supposed to do 2 or 3 minutes.
Do you think it's different in a bath, though? In a bath where you plunge?
Well, I just think it's
you're standing there and it's
a bit more of a shock. My shower doesn't go that cold, so yeah, so that's why I do it. I fill it up with freezing cold water straight out of the ground, and then it's in. And I listen to a couple of songs, and I know songs about 3 minutes, and I listened to two. The other day I started listening to three, and I thought, no, I've got to get out of here, because I'm never going to get out otherwise. They'll come and find me frozen in the bath. So yeah, it's a good feeling anyway.
I've done 48 hours fasting.
Nice to see you all. Hi, Annalene. Hi, Nolene. Andrea. Martin. It's good to see you. Martina. Lovely to see you. Ron. Good to see you again. Doreen. How are you? Diane. It's good to see you.
Diane, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's nice to see you all. We just wait for a few more people to get started.
Yeah, we'll give it a minute here.
I better let them all in. Actually, there's a load of people waiting and waiting.
Better get a drink then.
Watching my walking my dog over the bridge, I suspect.
Freddy, do you want to make me an admin?
I thought I did. Maybe I haven't.
I didn't see anybody in the waiting room. If you saw them, then I don't think I am. Oh yeah, now I am. Okay, good to go.
Okay. Yeah.
Good to go.
Hi, Amy.
All right.
See ya. Melissa, Blind, you're back again. You're such a trooper. Blind was here at 8 o'clock.
Twice in one day.
And Mark, we kicked him off, but they're back. Hi, Andrea.
So just a reminder, we have one more week at this time if you're in the US. And then next week it's like this. The week after that, we're going back an hour. So I know that's confusing. I don't know what to tell you. It is what it is. So mark your calendars.
It's always going to be 9 o'clock UK time. So wherever you are in the world, wherever your time is, it will be 9 o'clock UK time. So still a few more people coming in, and we'll get into this tonight. Have you had a nice week? Anything special you can share with us? Things that have happened since our last meeting? Kesh?
Yeah, Kesh.
Just following what I was saying about the modern hypnotism workshop and that confidence, I actually started my business last week with my very first paying client.
Well done, mate. Well done.
So thank you.
Yeah, good. We've come a bit of a journey since we first met.
Yeah.
In fact, you quit smoking with me, didn't you?
I did.
On a quit smoking thing we did with
That's 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Lisa Derwin.
Yeah, Lisa Derwin. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. And
What a
then
journey.
Since then you've been stalking me ever since. It's been really nice. Don't know what I said in that meeting.
Well, you haven't pushed me away yet.
Kesh, for you and for anybody really that does the kind of work that we do, I want to encourage you to start a folder on your computer or in Google Drive with screenshots or testimonial videos. And every time you work with a client and they say, wow, I feel absolutely amazing after that session, or you know what, that urge to smoke is completely gone, take a screenshot of those and start saving them in your testimonial folder. And after a few months, you'll go look at it and it'll like give you goosebumps. It's a really, really powerful way to keep you kind of tapped into why we do what we do.
Yeah. I was in touch with you during the week and I said to you, and I actually did start. So thanks for that.
Good.
It is actually such a great reminder, makes you feel pretty good.
And, sometimes when we're not in it all day, every day, or if we're not connected to the end state, we can forget what we do. And so I was reminded because I just looked at some of my testimonials last week and just seeing the massive transformation in some people in a short amount of time. It's it's inspiring. And you know, it's why we do what we do.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Well, as you know, Kesh, I've seen over 35,000 people face to face doing this work. It's got a little way to go yet. You've got your first one under your belt. It's only another 34,999 people to go where I'm at.
But you know, it really started from that weekend training that I just had it.
Yeah, great.
Everybody
I'm
listens
really
to this.
pleased. Yeah.
Never ever underestimate the power of the idle conversation that you have, because you have no idea where that could lead to, and that's what this was.
Yeah. If any of you, can get to The Hague in June, I'm going to run in a 2-day workshop there. I truly think you should be there, Doreen. I don't care how you get there. If I have to pay your bus fare, if I have to buy your lunch, but I need to see you in real life, because you've been, been part of my journey this last 3 years online. I know we met in the lakes, but it'd be nice to see you there. Quite close to you, is it not?
It's about 2 hours, I think,
Oh, 2
driving.
hours. That's nothing. If you're an American, then that's nothing. They can drive for 16 hours and still be in the same county.
We do it. I don't know about the same county, but
I think it's about 3.5 years now.
Yeah, it must be. Yeah. Anyway, nice to see you all. Hi, Chris. Good to see everybody here. I don't know what the time is, but I think we ought to get going, really.
I think so. I think.
Yeah.
Um.
Is there anything you want to say, Nick? Philip is holding a hand up.
Yeah. Let's let her go. Philip, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. So something awesome that happened this week for me. So a few weeks back, I became an official delegate for the UK to United Nations Women.
Wow.
And
Wow.
tomorrow and on Saturday, they've asked me to partner with them to do 2 well-being sessions. Some of the meetings that we've been involved in and heard from different countries around various topics, including trauma recovery, has been quite intensive. And so these well-being sessions that I'm going to be taking them through tomorrow will sort of there's an element of hypnosis involved within it. But the one tomorrow is standing at 242 people, and the one on Saturday is currently standing at 146.
Fantastic.
So that's a really, really big win for me.
Yeah,
So
well
I'm
done.
pleased
Well
with
done.
that.
That's awesome.
We're proud of you. I don't know why, but we're proud of you just because you're here, part of our group.
Thank you.
We can say we know you. Now, Philippa's got, she's a mind atelier, which I had to ask what that was, but it's like a designer. Is that right? A couture, I can't even say the word, but a fashion designer, but she's a design, help you design your mind the way you want it. So it's quite a nice thing. Yeah. Did I get it right, Philippa?
Yeah, so atelier is a French word, and it means that you have an expertise within your workmanship. And obviously for all of us here, our workplace is, collaborating with somebody and changing all of their unwanted habits, beliefs, behaviors, etc. But generally, if somebody asks what it is that I do, I say with a bit of tongue in cheek that I'm an interior designer for the mind.
Yeah, nice. Yeah,
that's perfect.
Good to see you, Georgina. Good to see all of you. Gerard, Chris. I think I've everybody. But anyway, Jem and is it Jetta that I say? Is that how I say it? Do I say Jetta or Jet?
You say Yid.
Yetta.
Yeah.
Yetta. Oh, got it. Good. Right, I'll remember that now. Right. Well, welcome everybody. It's good to see you all here. Nick, is there anything you want to impart before we get into the main meat of the session?
I don't think so. Just a reminder, we're closing the library. We're doubling the price tonight. I have some of you are messaging me about different access things. I'm still working out with ClickFunnels. And then we've got, like I said in the email, 3 or 4 more recordings we're getting ready to load up. So it's something we're going to continue to build. And all these replays are already in there. So we'll keep adding that. So again, that's going to double tonight at midnight. other than that, one thing, how many of you are going to Hypno Thoughts Live in Las Vegas or thinking about it? Cash, one, that's it. I can't see everybody, I guess, but okay, so those, all right, we got a few. So consider those room blocks are starting to fill up, so that might be something to keep in mind if you haven't booked that yet. I just booked my room and flight this week, so I am super excited to see everybody there. We may have to plan a dinner or a group get together ahead of time or afterwards, or get to spend some time together. And with that, I think I'm going to hand it back over to Freddy. Today, we're going to do the dream architecture process. I'm sure some of you have done that before, but I'm excited to go through it because it allows you to go really deep. So enjoy the process. And with that, I'll head it back over to Freddy.
Thanks. Okay, well, my way of working, I know a lot of you have been in my groups and some of you have done my training, but my thinking is that when it comes to the therapy side of things, I start with the premise that the only person that knows the answers to the problem and has the resources and strength to overcome that problem is the person in the therapy chair, not in my chair. And if you like, I look at myself as a catalyst, enabling that person to get out of their own way. So to get their conscious part of their mind, which is the part that believes it is us, which in fact is the most limiting part of our being. The conscious part of our minds is very limited. It can only hold 7 plus or minus 2 things at the same time. It's why we remember our phone numbers in chunks. 0751 972 3106. Now you got my number. But we chunk it down. To try and remember those numbers in one line is too difficult. So it's very limited, but it believes it is us. And it's always trying to protect us, if you like. And it has an idea where to go, but the only part of us that can actually get to where we want to be is that unconscious part of us. If you like, it's everything else. The unconscious mind is everything else. It's the part of you that's keep making sure your heart's beating properly and your blood pressures. It's monitoring all those things at the same time. So my job really is just to get people out of their own way, and so they can get in touch with their own inner powers and strengths. And the dream architectural therapy, it came to me from the film Inception. Anyone seen the film Inception with DiCaprio? Yeah. And they have to, in the film, if you can't remember it, if you haven't seen it, they want this guy to make a decision about his business, but they want him to believe that the decision comes from him. So they, on a flight, a transatlantic flight, they give him some kind of drug and they take him into a sleep. And in that sleep, they take him into a dream, and they're in the dream with him, and they're guiding him down through these different levels of dream until he gets to a place where his father's there, and in that room, there's this list of things he needs to do, which he then picks up. When they bring him back up out of this dream state, he has no recollection of it, but he has the answers to the question. He has the idea that they want him to actually carry out. So anyway, the dream architectural therapy, that's where it kind of came to in my mind. So the idea tonight, some other point we'll run it in a different way, because I also run this for rejuvenation, but we'll talk about that in another meeting. But tonight, I'm going to take you into that space where you can find the answers to the questions you might have been asking yourself about, what you should do in your business or what you should do in your relationships. I don't know, but whatever those answers are, sometimes so I'm just going to change this. I'm looking at myself here, and it's very odd. I want to see all of you. It's coming from that space that I believe you already have the answers somewhere within you. And the thing about this is, if you're, I know some of you are already doing hypnosis. If you were to just take your client into hypnosis and ask your unconscious mind to come up with the answers. And only when that answer's clear will they open their eyes and, you know, come back to everyday wakeful awareness, if you like. The hard part, and we can all do this, we're going to do it tonight, and you will find the answers to your question. The hard part is accepting that that is the answer, because sometimes the answer is not the answer that you want, if you understand what I'm saying. But if you trust your unconscious mind, it will be the thing to do. So trusting your unconscious mind, if you want to think about it in other ways, you know, trusting your gut, you know, we say it, don't we? You know, go by your gut. What feels right? There's often we meet people, don't we? And in the first few minutes, we think there's something not right about this person. And then they speak, and they might be well schooled in language. And within 3 or 4 minutes, you think, you know, they're perfectly okay. And then 18 months later, they stab you in the back, and you think, I knew that when I met them. Because all of those years, all of your ancestral learning that's come down through those genes to become what's instinctive for you, things that you just act upon instinctively, all of that learning is somewhere within you. You imagine that. That's how incredible your mind is. Everything you've ever done in your life, ever touched, ever felt, ever smelt, ever, you know, ever experienced is somewhere in that vast warehouse that we call the unconscious mind. And generally, when we go looking for an answer in that warehouse, it's like when we're looking for it consciously, it's like going into that vast warehouse with a torch and trying to look for that one box that has the answer to it. I like to think of hypnosis as like you imagine one of those Amazon warehouses. I've never been in one, but I can imagine what it's like, you know, all computerized, where you go in and you key in the number for whatever it is you want, and this robot goes zzz, 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 goes to the box, pulls that box out, and it does it like instantly. And I like to think hypnosis like that. When we get into our unconscious mind, your unconscious mind knows exactly where the answer to that problem is. And all we have to do is give it a clear instruction and get into that space where the conscious mind is out of the way for a while. So your unconscious mind goes, okay, what do you want from me? And then you're going to find that answer tonight. This is going to be a bit of a trip, okay? And I am going to take you, as Nick said, this is going to be a deep state, because we're going to go 3 levels down into your unconscious. It's going to be like a guided tour, if you like. You're going to love it. And along the way, we're going to do some other things along the way. At some point, we're going to let go of any negative limiting beliefs you might have that have been holding you back. So we're going to do that on the way. We're going to get into a state where you feel into a feeling of unconditional love. And then we're going to find those answers to that question. And then we're going to bring that back with you. So if you haven't got anything in mind, you'll find something. But if there is something that's been bothering you for a while, and you think, I'd really like to have a grip on the answer to that question, then maybe think about it now. But sometimes what we're thinking about consciously changes, as you know. Sometimes when we're looking, I run a thing called a time machine, which we might run with you at some point. When we go back and people say, okay, there was this incident in my life that I want to have a look at, that's where this problem began. And we do a time machine, which is only a few minutes, and we zip back to that time. Sometimes they go somewhere they didn't expect. And sometimes that can happen when we're looking for the answers to questions. The question you're asking yourself at the moment, there may be a deeper answer or a deeper question that needs to be answered. You're going to find that tonight, but I know you're going to enjoy this, okay? So any questions on this? Are you all ready to go 3 levels deep in your unconscious? I promise you I'll bring you back. I am your dream pilot for tonight, okay? Any questions before we get going? No? Right. Look, well, I like to think that you're all now complete hypno junkie. She just can't wait to get to the trance. All right, okay, so get yourselves ready. You know how to do this now. Make sure you're comfortable. Make sure you're in a safe place. Hope you're not driving, Teresa. I take no responsibility, right?
It's all right. I'm parked up. I'm pulled over.
Oh, that's good. Okay, good. All right, that makes me feel a lot better. Okay, are you all ready for this? When you're ready, just get yourself comfortable. And when you're ready to find the answer to these questions, go on this trip with me, just take a breath in. As you breathe out, allow your eyes to close. Only as quickly as you are ready to have this experience. Once again, focus on those tiny muscles around your eyes and allow your eyes to relax completely. And get a sense of that happening automatically. Imagine there's nothing you could do about that. Every word I say relaxes those muscles more and more. Imagine your eyes are relaxing so completely, they just won't work. And just for a moment, once again, think about the people you love, people that love you. Or think about an outcome you truly want in your life, a positive outcome. And feel into that feeling now, or see the faces of the people you love. That'll remind you just how incredible you are. And as you feel that now, your eyes have relaxed so completely, they just won't work for a while. And when you realize your eyes are so relaxed, they just won't work, you can test them, find it completely locked. That's right. Now, nothing bothers or affects you. Nothing disturbs you. In a moment, I'm going to say the word love. And as you hear that word, that feeling of relaxation around your eyes will just flood down through your body like a bliss anesthesia. But no matter how relaxed your body and mind become, the chair will support you. So get ready. Love. Feel that feeling just washing down through your body. Nobody wants anything. No one expects anything. Nothing bothers or affects you. Nothing disturbs you. All that matters now is you, the sound of my voice, and that feeling of freedom. Get a sense of that happening automatically, just dropping down through space and time into a place of peaceful, calm awareness, where even the effort it takes to be aware of the sound of my voice or the meaning of my words may almost seem to be too much effort to bother making. It's so much easier simply to relax and enjoy that letting go. That's right. Allowing events to occur in your own time, in your own way, a drifting down, deeper, deeper, deeper down now. 10, 20, 100 times deeper, even deeper than before. And just when you think you've reached that ultimate space of bliss and profound hypnosis, my voice, my words are going to take you 10 times deeper. Get a sense of that happening. Imagine there's nothing you can do about that. Every word I say now doubles that feeling. The deeper you go, the better you feel. The better you feel, the deeper you'll go. Everything I say now is your reality. Every suggestion I give you, your mind and body will act upon at a molecular, cellular, neurological level. It's now your reality. And just for a while, you'll see what I say you can see, feel what I say you can feel, hear what I say you can hear, believe what I say you believe, as you go deeper, deeper, deeper down. You have a conscious mind and an unconscious mind. And that unconscious mind, the back of the mind, can continue to hear, to understand, respond to those things I might say without the need for you to do anything at all. It's so much easier for the conscious mind simply to relax and enjoy that letting go. That's right. Letting go even of the effort it takes to make the effort that it might take to tell the exact position of arms, legs, or the entire body now that seems to drift through time and space. That wonderful free-floating place of effortless relaxation and letting go. Allowing events to occur in their own time, in their own way, as you drift as a mind. And that mind drifts without boundaries, without borders, without limits. Get a sense of yourself out there, living your life the way you want to live it. Creating that life you want. And notice the way you move and the way you breathe. The confidence, the feeling of achievement, the feeling of well-being, freedom. Step into that body, feel into it, get a sense of what it feels like, and ask this question: how much fun is it? How much fun can I make this? How important is it for me? Because now you know how good you're going to feel. Everything about your nature, your mind and body is inclined toward making it happen. Imagine that's happening automatically and there's nothing you can do about that. And as you drift in that space, you and I are standing at the top of a flight of 5 steps. 5 safe steps that lead down into the most beautiful garden. One of those gardens that you see in those stately homes. One of those beautiful walled gardens. You can see the lawn stretched out in front of you. All of the bushes perfectly cut. The flowers, get a sense of the colours, a sense of the perfume in those flowers, filling your senses now. As I count down from 5, we're going to take those steps into that garden. And each step will take you deeper, deeper, deeper down into that beautiful space. 5. Going deeper, deeper down. 4. Going even deeper. 3. 2. 1. And now we're in that garden. Feel the softness of the grass under your feet. The warmth of the sun on your face. It's not too hot. It's one of those beautiful, clear blue sky days. See the flowers. Get a sense of the perfumes filling your senses. Get a sense of the sounds in that garden, the wildlife. And as we walk across that lawn, you can see it now. There's a bench, an old oak bench on the pathway. And as we make our way over to that bench, and we sit on that bench, and you look across that garden, and you feel the warmth of the sun on your face, and you close your eyes, and you go into the most beautiful sleep, into the most beautiful, deep, deep sleep. And in that sleep, you go into a dream. In that dream, we are walking through one of those fields of gold that Sting sings about, wheat and barley. You can sense the feeling of those plants against your fingertips, the warmth of the sun on your face, a breeze blowing across the top of those plants like a golden wave on the ocean. And you can smell the perfume of those plants. And we stop for a minute in that field and just be in that space for a moment. Feeling of freedom. Nobody wants anything. No one expects anything. Just a moment to be and to breathe. And as we continue now through that field of gold, it opens onto a beautiful, wide, safe pathway that leads down into the valley. A valley full of wild flowers as far as the eye can see. The colours filling your senses, the perfume filling your senses. And as we walk down that pathway into that valley, every step takes you deeper, deeper, deeper down into that wonderful feeling. That's right, each step takes you deeper and deeper, and you can see it now. There's an old oak tree beside that pathway, hundreds of years old. Its branches overhanging the pathway. And as we walk beneath the branches, you can feel the coolness of the shade. The sunlight shining between those leaves like diamonds. And you can think about the people that have met there, lovers that have met under those branches, friends that have met there, people that have sheltered there over the hundreds of years. And just for a moment, as you stop underneath those branches, you can feel the energy of those people that were there before. A wonderful, positive energy of love and freedom. And as we walk down that pathway back out into the sunlight, and you feel the sun on your face, deeper, deeper down into that valley, and you can see it now. There's a river running through that valley. Get a sense of that. A river running to somewhere miles and miles away, running out to sea. And now we're on that riverbank, just sitting on that riverbank, watching the leaves and the twigs drifting down that riverbank. And you notice there, tied to that riverbank, is an old rowing boat. One of those boats that you see in the parks in the summer. But it's been left there, forgotten about, abandoned. Dried leaves in the bottom of that boat. There's a number on the side. You may just be able to make it out. But as you look at that boat, you notice that on your back is a rucksack. You haven't noticed it before, but now you can feel it. And in that rucksack is every negative, limiting belief that's been placed on you throughout your life. All the hurt, pain, sadness that's been placed on you throughout your life. Every doubt that was placed on you is in that bag, so subtly throughout the years that you haven't even felt it up until now. But now you can feel the weight of it. It's been holding you back. It's been slowing you down. But you can see me in front of you. And you can feel me unstrapping that bag and lifting it off your back. And you feel that thing of freedom, that breath you take as you feel that wonderful thing of freedom. And you watch as I drag that bag and carry that bag over to that boat. And watch as I throw that bag into that boat and the boat goes lower in the water under the weight of all of that stuff that you've been carrying around with you that never belonged to you in the first place. And watch as I undo the rope that's holding that boat to the riverbank and kick that boat out into the river. And watch as the current in that river starts to move that boat down the river, the number getting smaller and smaller, the boat getting further and further away, and with it, all of that weight that you were carrying, every negative, limiting belief, all the hurt, pain, sadness, every angry word, every doubt that was ever placed on you. And watch as that boat disappears around a bend in that river and disappears out of sight. And you lay back on that riverbank and you look up into that clear blue sky. And in your mind's eye, you can picture that boat way out there on the ocean now. A tiny rowing boat laden down with all of that stuff from the past. And watch as a wave washes over that boat and takes it down to the bottom of the seabed, thousands and thousands of feet below. And in the darkness, you can picture that boat hitting the seabed and that bag spilling out all the hurt and pain and sadness that was placed on you. Thousands of sea creatures burying those feelings at the bottom of the ocean, never to affect you again. And as you picture that in your mind, you close your eyes and you go into a sleep. And in that sleep, we are walking into the most beautiful light. An all-encompassing light, you can feel it. In that feeling of light is a feeling of unconditional self-love. Get a sense of that now. I know it's okay to feel that good. An understanding of just how incredible you are. And as we stand in that light and that feeling of unconditional love floods through your body, every doubt has gone. And the harder you try and remember what it felt like to doubt yourself, the more confident, the more fearless you become. And as we walk through that light, you can see it now. There's a door, like a door to a bank vault, a massive steel door. And it's got one of those big steel dials on the front. And beside that door is a keypad. And 3 numbers pop into your mind. And you punch those numbers into that keypad and the light goes green. And together we are turning that wheel and opening that door. You can feel how heavy that door is. And we're stepping into that bank vault. And on the wall are some safety deposit boxes. And one of them has your name on it. I want you to go over to that safety deposit box and open that door. Take out the canister that's in that safety deposit box. Take it to the table that's there in the middle of that bank vault. Place it on the table and open the lid. And there in that canister is a photograph of you having achieved what you want to achieve in your life. Notice what you're wearing. Notice the way you're standing. And step into that photograph and feel into that outcome now. Get a sense of what it feels like to have achieved the things you want to achieve in your life. Get a sense of that now. And once again, ask that question, how much fun is this? How much fun can I make it? Get a sense of that now, because now you know how good you're going to feel. Everything about your nature is inclined toward making it happen. Now, underneath that photograph is a piece of A4 paper. It's folded in half. And when you open that piece of paper, there in your own handwriting are the answers to the questions you've been asking yourself. All of the questions that you've been asking yourself, the answers are there in your own handwriting. And you're memorizing those answers. What you need to do to be everything you want to be. What you need to do to be completely authentic in your life. What you need to do to create the life that's going to serve you. All those answers, what you need to do to be your best physical self, are on that piece of paper. And you're storing those answers in that part of your mind that's there for those answers. Storing them there. And now you've stored those answers in your mind. You fold that piece of paper back up. And you put it back in a canister. And you take that photograph. You have one last look of how you're going to look and feel when you've achieved your life goals. Put that photograph back on that piece of A4 paper and close the lid. Now take the canister and put it back in that safety deposit box. Close the door, spin that little disc on it so it's locked. And now we're walking back out of that bank vault. You have the answers to those questions stored in your mind. We're closing that door behind you. It's 2 feet of steel. And we clock that door and we spin that dial and the light goes red once again. And now we're walking back into that light. And now feel that love for the people you love, the people that love you, the people you've helped with your words and your kindness and your skills. And get a sense of that love now. Feel your heart expanding. Feel it flooding through your body. How incredible are you? Because you are loved and you are loved and you are loving. Feel into that feeling of unconditional self-love now. Know you are worthy of it. And as we stand there in that light, you realize you're in a dream that you're having on that riverbank. And as you realize that, you are waking up on that riverbank. And you remember now that boat laden down with all the stuff from the past, now buried at the bottom of the ocean. And you feel into that feeling of freedom. And now we're walking back up that pathway, back up out of that valley with a lightness of being you may have never experienced before, a feeling of freedom that you may have never experienced before. And as we walk up that pathway, you can see it now, the old oak tree. And as once again we pass beneath those branches and you feel the coolness of that shade, and you feel that sun shining between those leaves like diamonds, and that feeling of energy and love and freedom. As we walk back out into the sunlight, feel the sun on your back as we walk up out of that valley. And now you can see that field of gold, the wheat and the barley, and a breeze blowing across the top of that field like a golden wave. And as we walk back into that field, and you smell the perfume of those plants, feel the softness against your skin. And we stop once again, just for a moment, to be. How incredible is it just to be? To know that you're already a whole being. You're already the most incredible creation. To just be in that space. And as you stand in that space, you realize you're in a dream. A dream that you're having in an old walled garden. And as you realize that, you are waking up on that bench. And you can see those plants and those flowers, hear the birds and the wonderful wildlife in that garden. You see that beautiful lawn stretched out in front of you. And you can see the steps, the 5 steps that led down into that garden. And a feeling of freedom. And as we walk back across that lawn toward those steps, new understanding forms in your mind. An understanding of just how incredible you are. A lightness of being you may have never experienced before. Free of the past, free of the future, free to be in that moment. And now we're at the bottom of those steps. In a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 5. As I count from 1 to 5, we're going to run up those steps with the most incredible feeling of freedom. Get ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we're at the top of those steps, looking out across that garden. Get a sense of that bench that you fell asleep on. And as we stand at the top of those steps, you realize you are in the most profound, wonderful, deep trance state, sitting safely in your chair. And in a moment, I'm going to count to 10. And every suggestion I've given you, your mind and body will act upon. On 8, your eyes will open and you will feel incredible because you are incredible. And on 10, that wonderful lightness of being, free of the past, free of the future, free to be, is going to grow stronger day by day. And this feeling of unconditional self-love, a knowing that comes from somewhere deep inside you. Now you know at some level of awareness exactly what you need to do to create the life that will serve you, to enable you to be yourself and know that yourself is good enough. You're already a whole being. You're already the most incredible creation. And you are love, and you are loved, and you are loving. So get ready as I count to 10. On 8, your eyes will open. You will feel incredible, like you've had a ton weight lifted. The harder you try and remember what it felt like to doubt yourself, the further away it goes. And on 10, that new understanding, that feeling of freedom is going to grow stronger day by day. 1, feeling absolutely wonderful. 2, to create the life you want and do it brilliantly. 3, a feeling of freedom, free of the past, free of the future, free to be in this moment. 4, feel a force of that energy, an unconditional self-love flooding through your body and mind. The most incredible, wonderful energy. 5, feeling incredibly alive now. 6, 7, 8, eyes opening, feeling absolutely wonderful. 9, 10. Excellent. Diana's back. It's unusual. She's normally 10 minutes behind everyone else. It's nice. Well, I hope you enjoyed the trip. I don't know, it'll be a minute from now, an hour from now, when you suddenly realize you know exactly what you need to do to create that life you want. And to know that it's okay to be you. It's okay to want the best for yourself. There's still a few people still in the garden, I think. We just wait for them to come back. Blind didn't want to come back. She's coming back, but didn't want to. Yet is still just about to come back.
Freddie, I have a question for everyone.
Okay.
How do you know you're not still in a dream within a dream right now? That was it.
It's all a dream. It's all a dream. And we can create that dream. Maybe one day we'll do some lucid dreaming on a breakout and breakthrough. Yeah, so we'll do it. But yeah, to be able to take control. Has anyone here had an experience of lucid dreaming where you're awake in your dream and you have control of your dream? Yeah, it's a pretty amazing thing, isn't it? To realize you're asleep and dreaming, but to be awake in that dream. It's a pretty crazy thing to do. And one day maybe we'll take you there so you can have that experience. Have you got any questions about anything? Well, you don't know any questions now. You've got all the answers. So you don't need me to answer any questions. You've got all the answers now. Anybody? No? Can't see all screens. Just put your, there's a hand up emoji there somewhere. If you, Diana, yeah.
Not a question, but just to say it was very, very inspiring what I went through. I lost 3 members of my family, husband and 2 sons, and this is the anniversary of my husband. So I got rid of that. That is great.
Well, I'm pleased it's helped you. You know, to let go of the pain, but keep the emotion. That's a big thing. So I'm pleased.
It means a lot.
Thank you. Good. Okay. Well, I hope you all enjoyed it. Do you enjoy it, Amy?
Is it Annalene? I'm gonna
Yeah,
bring her
Annalene,
on. I
got
think
a
she had a
question.
question here.
Yes, I find it, I've always found it difficult to be hypnotized because I have such a critical, or no, it's not it's positively critical. Kind of, I just want to listen to your trade, to your trade craft, as in, oh, next time I could say it this way, or I could say it that way. So that comes in my way of completely letting go because I just, I want to keep learning. Do you have any tips for that?
Yeah, assume that your unconscious mind is hearing everything and it's storing it. If you give it that instruction before, I want to completely immerse myself in this hypnosis experience, but I want my unconscious mind to store all of the learning.
Yeah.
So that I can then because it's somewhere within you, it's in there. But give your unconscious mind that instruction first.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if you ever had the experience of now you've had this experience, but you know, in the past, maybe some of us had the experience where we just want to, there's something on the tip of our tongue, we just can't find it, but we give ourselves that instruction. So, you know, I really want to know the answer to that question. You can do it before you go to sleep at night. And then in the morning, you're having breakfast, you think, that's the answer. Your unconscious mind has been going through all of those things in your life until it comes up with that answer. It doesn't stop. Your unconscious mind never sleeps. When you sleep, your conscious mind's asleep, but your unconscious mind's never asleep. It's your unconscious mind to hear a creak on the stairs that shouldn't be there, or smell smoke in a house that shouldn't be there. Do you understand? It's always from the moment you draw a breath to the moment you draw your last breath, it never switches off. It's always there. And it's just about asking it the question. I need an answer to this question. But if you do ask that just in everyday life and say, I really need an answer to this question, you could try it with a lottery. I want to know what these numbers are, see what comes up. But if you've got if you ask that question, you know, I need an answer to this question, I promise you an answer will come. It might not be in that moment, but within the next half hour, an hour or so, it will come to you. And then, but understand that the answer is not always the answer you want.
No.
But it will be the right thing to do.
Mhm.
You know, that's how our brain works. And we have to trust our unconscious mind. And there are times when we should go with our gut feeling. That first 4 seconds of meeting somebody, we know. In general, we know if this person's good or bad, but we have to listen to that. We have to be aware of it, because as I said, you know, people can talk you out of it. But how often we've all done it? Well, we've done that and we've let something else override our instincts to our detriment. So part of doing a hypnosis is trusting our unconscious. That's how I see it. So yeah, you can always ask those questions. You can always take yourself back into that dream state. Most of you have got that journey now. Just go back into that garden, go into a sleep, go in that sleep, go into another's dream, go back down by the river. We can continue to do this for ourselves. It's a really nice self-hypnosis kind of trip. If they ain't puzzling you, or, you know, you need just go into that space. Another way of finding a way, this has been my go-to way to do this for myself. There's a bit of self-hypnosis. I call it my war cabinet. It's probably the wrong word because it's not about war, it's not about battles. But if I have a problem in my life that I can't get a handle on, I take myself in hypnosis, and I'm on this corridor, and there are 6 steps. I don't know why there's 6 steps, but there's 6 concrete steps leading down into another corridor. So I take myself down those steps, and then along that corridor there are 2 doors to 2 big conference rooms. And the second set of doors, I go in, and there's a conference table in there. And around that table are people from my life. Some are still alive, many of them are dead, and some I haven't seen for 20, 30 years, but they're all around that table. And I go in with the question, and I go, I need an answer to this problem. And I put the question on the table. You know, sometimes my mum's there, you know, she's been dead for a few years now, but she'll pop up and say, I think if you do this, there'll be a friend of mine from years ago. I mean, I'm talking a long time ago, maybe died 50 years ago. He pops up and he was a guy who was fearless, and he'd say, I think if you do this, you know. And so before I come out of that, if it's a business question, there's a guy called Gary that I worked with years ago, you know, a multi-millionaire, self-made man. He might pop up with the answer to that business question. Before I come out of that conference room, I will have an answer to that problem. And as I said, some of these people no longer exist in this life, but I've had time with them. They've influenced me. I've still got their voices in my head. People that are positive in my life. So maybe if you ever get into that situation, all of you have got those people in your lives. Just take yourself down into that conference room. You'll be amazed who you see around the table, because whatever the problem, it might be different people that have the resources to answer that problem. So that's another way of answering those questions. As I said earlier, your unconscious mind is a vast warehouse of everything you've ever experienced, everything you've ever felt, tasted, seen. Somewhere in that vast warehouse are those memories. And all we have to do is open our mind up to it and ask the question. But remember, we said this on a call earlier, when we're giving directions to our unconscious mind, I can see most of you, a lot of you here are women, a lot of you have been 7-year-old girls. But I think your unconscious mind is like a 7-year-old girl. if you've ever had a 7-year-old daughter or a 7-year-old grandchild, they want to please you. Can I do that for your granddad? Can I go to the shops for your mum? Can I do this for your mum? They want to please you, but they're 7 years old, so they need a clear direction. If you were to give your 7-year-old grandchild or your 7-year-old daughter, a €20 note and say, go to the shop and get some shopping, you never know what she's going to come back with. So it has to be very clear. Here's €20. Put it in your pocket and go straight to the shop on the corner. Ask the man for a tin of peas and a cabbage. Wait for him to get it for you. Pay the man with the €20. Wait for your change. Take the change. Put it in your pocket. Thank the man and come straight home. It has to be like that. It has to be very clear directions when we're talking to our unconscious mind. It has no logic. So it will just do what you ask it to do, but it has to have a very clear direction. But it has two remits, your unconscious mind. It wants you to be happy and it wants you to be well. It will do everything to make that happen for you, but it needs an absolute clear direction. So just think about that when you're doing your self-hypnosis. And my feelings on emotion now. If we can create an emotion, we can give a suggestion that bypasses, Annalene, any critical kind of resistance, okay? So we are having our emotions spike many times throughout the day. Get frustrated, we might get angry, someone makes us smile, makes us laugh. All of these are a very rapid change in our emotional state. When we recognize that, we should be ready with a positive suggestion for ourselves. Whatever it is you want in your life, whether it's a physical goal, career goal, spiritual goal, emotional goal, financial goal, but it's like a one-liner, a soundbite. I'm going to be this. Or in Nick's world, you say, I am this. If you feel right into that moment, you're already in that space. And then when that person frustrates you or makes you angry, you just in your own mind say, bring it on, because I'm going to achieve this. I'm going to have that. And that you don't have to go into a dark space and sit quietly. You can do this as you go about your day, okay? But we're going to be teaching you this. And we're going to be running soon. We're going to run a program on self-hypnosis. And we'll tell you more about that at a later stage. But a lot of these things we're teaching you, you're doing it anyway. You just have to be consciously aware of it and bring it into your conscious thought. Then you can create that life you want. And there are very, very few limitations. And a lot of those limitations that have been placed on you throughout your life are now at the bottom of the ocean, scurried away with a load of little sea creatures buried at the bottom of the ocean. And I don't know, it'll be a minute from now or an hour from now when you suddenly realize that those doubts you had before you sat down this evening have gone. And once the mind's changed, it cannot be changed back. So anyway, here endeth the lesson. Any more questions before we get going tonight?
I have one thing to contribute that. Annalene, were you on the focus call that we did last week or 2 weeks ago?
No, I was not, no.
Okay, so we were training ourselves how to shift focus back and forth between two different aspects. And so, I had some of the same experience doing this with Freddy. I'm like, ooh, that language pattern, that was good. But what happens is you can focus on what he's saying and trying to learn that, or you can focus more towards going deeper into the experience. And so as you shift your focus, you'll get more. So I think your default focus was just what's he saying, but you can also kind of fade in and out of that into focusing more into the experience just by learning to guide your focus. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. Although I am almost already anticipating that it's going to happen. So, it's kind of, that becomes then the self-fulfilling prophecy, isn't it? But yeah, good tips.
That's just a habit thought pattern, and that's totally fine.
Absolutely.
I do the same thing, but I don't resist it. I just keep guiding my focus as I'm in it, and you'll just retrain yourself.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, of course.
I didn't say it tonight, Annalene, but normally I say this. You can listen to me if you want, but I don't mean it rudely. I'm not interested in your conscious mind. Because a lot of people are like that. Why is he saying that? What's he saying that for? It doesn't make any difference. Your unconscious mind will hear everything I've got to say, and it will take from it what's needed for you to make those changes in your life. And I could see you were enjoying it because you were the face I was watching most of the time, smiling. You were just sitting there smiling most of the time, which I thought was good. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. Mark, you have a question?
I do. It might just be a little too big for the session. I'm reading a new book now. It's actually pretty
Okay.
amazing. It's called A Theory and Treatment of Your Personality by Gary Flint. And I chose it because he works with some of the most difficult people, psychotics, schizophrenics, people who are basically in hospitals. He's since passed. But his theory of the subconscious is that it didn't get correctly formed with these kinds of people and many people, and that he came up with a way of retraining the subconscious. And I'd never come across this way of looking things, but he does it. He does it really with allowing them to retrain their subconscious with a series of very intricate, like question and answer method. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, but I didn't know if you'd ever stumbled on Gary Flint.
Well, I think if you glean one thing from it that resonates with you, that makes sense, that you can help your clients with. And I think in most of those books, there is something that you'll get from it. I know because I have my two sons who are now 23 and 21. We adopted them when they were 2 and 1 years old, and my 2-year-old we adopted when he was 2.5. He had a terrible start in life, an absolute terrible start in life, and I know this is fairly personal, but both of them were drug babies, both born to a mother that was, on drugs. So their first experience of life would have been withdrawal from heroin, which you can't even imagine what that's like. Now, my wife's a pediatric nurse, and she helps these babies that are born, and their first few days of their life is withdrawal from heroin. They're just crying, stiff, in pain. It's a terrible thing. And so, and then for the one who's now 23, he was left with his mother for 14 months. In fact, when they took him into care, he had a green Mohican, both ears pierced. It was a terrible life. He's badly neglected and whatever else. And that's the time when that part of your brain is forming. And like you're saying, Mark, people who have, if they don't have that nurturing in that very early stage of being loved, being held, being, looked after, then it's very hard to change that later on in life. And I know my oldest boy's had a lot of problems, a lot of troubles. And it's partly because of that, and I've said to him, because he doing hypnosis and having some understanding of the brain, how it works, and how hypnosis works. Now, most of us will have a thought, and that thought will immediately go to the outcome, and that will stop us from doing things that are completely stupid because we have an understanding. But with him, there is no gap between the thought and the action. And my job during his young life was trying to train him to whatever the thought was, which is a very difficult thing to do. You imagine what it's like to stop with every thought you have and count to 10, or give yourself some space to think properly. But that was my understanding of that, but that part of the brain that's if it's not wired in that first part of your life, it's a very hard thing to get later on in life. So I understand what you're talking about, and especially with things like schizophrenia and psychosis, all those things. So if you put the title in the chat, that would be really good, Mark, because I'd like to read that myself.
And we expect a full book report on it, Mark.
But we in
500-page book.
In my level of hypnosis, where I think I'm at, and I say it to my students as well, we deal with neurosis, not psychosis. And you all know the difference if your client is psychotic, because the immediate first, as I was saying earlier, the first 4 seconds, everything in your body will be saying, get out of this place. If you're in a room with someone who's psychotic, you will feel it immediately. And I would say to you, unless you're specifically trained in that way, then hold your hands up and say, it's beyond me. And you have a right to say that if you feel it's beyond you. Here's the difference. Neurosis, bad for me. Psychosis, bad for you. Right? That's how you've got to think about this. So that's the difference between neurosis, psychosis, and people who are psychotic need special treatment because they do. And you have to be aware of that if you're working with clients. It's rare you'll see anyone like it, but you will know immediately if you do. And you have to say, it's beyond me, and hold your hands up. If you believe it is, you might want to work in that situation. Personally, I've had that experience. It was pretty scary. So, you know, I would advise you to think about what you're doing in that situation.
I'm not very qualified to talk about working with psychotics, but I also find my intuition is that many of them would not want to change or be open to change. And so they would be looking for what they can get out of it or how they can use you to their benefit. That would be my hallucination. So something to consider.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Nick. You know, because they don't realize there's anything wrong with them. The rest of the world is wrong, and the rest of the world is there for the taking. And that's, you know, they don't understand give and take. It's about, what about me? And that's the problem. So yeah, you've got, just be aware. That's what I'm saying. You know, and if you can help them in some way, then, you know, do your utmost to do it. But I would suggest if you're not trained in that way, then stick to what we know. And, you know, we can help thousands and thousands of people. We don't have to save everybody. And if we think it's beyond us, be big enough to say it's beyond me. And hold your hands up.
Thank you.
Any other questions before we go? I hope you've enjoyed the trip anyway. And expect to have the answers to those questions at some point. Might be in the middle of the night, you wake up and go, I know what I need to do now. And you'll know that within you, you have the resources to do it. Now, going to that vast warehouse of, it's not just this, you know, I'm not a person that believes in past lives and things like that. I've worked with people in past lives, but, you know, I'm a bit of a skeptic. But all of the knowledge that's come down throughout your ancestry is somewhere in your genes, and you have that knowledge. You just have to open yourself up to it and ask the question, what do I need to do now? It's not just what you've learned in this lifetime. It's all of the other stuff, all the learnings that's come down. I believe that's how we evolve over time and how we, you know, we continue to move forward as a species. So anyway, if there's no more questions, we're going to say goodnight to you.
Yeah,
And
I'm still in the dream state. Just a reminder. So next week is at the same time in the US. The week after is going to be an hour earlier. So we're 9 o'clock in England time. So just everybody remember that. And then next week, we're going to do the Back to the Future protocol, which is, it's different than regression. It's different than parts work. It's something that I kind of experienced during a self-hypnosis this last week and had a pretty like big light bulb moment. So I'm excited to take everybody through the Back to the Future protocol. We're going to go for a ride in the DeLorean and go back traveling through time. So that's next week. And Freddy, you're doing the jumping numbers the week after. So we've got some fun things coming up, and we'll see you all next week.
Guess who's the mad old professor in the Back to the Future protocol?
I'll have to put you in there. Yeah, perfect.
I'm going to get a long grey wig for next week. I look forward to seeing you all.
Thank you, Freddie.
Right.
Thank you, Nick. It was
Love you.
lovely.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Thank
Have
you,
a
Nick.
good one, everyone. Good
Thanks,
morning,
everyone.
Have a
afternoon,
good
evening.
weekend,
Take care.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Freddie. Thank you, Nick.
Take care.
Our pleasure.